Justice with Judge Mablean will be life because in everything we do, it involves the law. Where's your witness?
In the evidence.
That's hearsay.
It's notarized.
I still say it's hearsay.
She's fair.
You got to help these young men learn how to do this the right way.
Yes, Your Honor.
She's firm.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
No, I don't need to say anything else.
She's honest.
I'm not your child and I'm not your friend. That's the order of the court. Goodbye.
This is Justice with Judge Mablean.
All rise. Both parties, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Court is now in session with the Honorable Judge Mablean presiding.
Thank you, Will. You may all be seated. And in the matter of Sabina Masters versus Niall Nakis, you're suing him for $1,000 for your smashed windshield. You want him to pay the property damage claim that you had to pay to get that windshield repaired. And of course, you, Mr. Nakis, your defense is she was on my property. I don't owe her anything.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you had the nerve to say, and I'm not paying her anything. Ooh, when I see that.
Well, Your Honor, I feel
I just want you to know that I make that decision, not you, and not you. So we don't know who's going to pay, if anyone. But we're going to start with Ms. Masters to give me her version and why she's suing you.
Well, good morning, Your Honor. I am here, like you said, suing my neighbor Niall for $1,000 for property damage. I had recently bought a home near the beach, and we are so close to the beach, parking is really a situation. Sometimes we end up parking in front of each other's houses, blocking the driveways a little bit, but usually we work it out. About 4 months ago, when I came home, I noticed, about 4 months before the incident happened, I came home and saw that there was a basketball hoop right in the middle of the property line of our driveways. So of course I went over and I asked him if he was storing it, and he said no, he bought it for one of his kids for their birthdays and he was keeping it there. So I told him that I thought that was, I didn't want him to be playing around my car. I parked my car right in the driveway right there. And his basketball hoop literally lines up against our property line. He just brushed me off, said he could put his hoop wherever he wanted. And of course the next day I called the city.
I was polite when I said that, but okay.
You're not
I
ever
didn't brush
polite
you
with
off.
me.
I was very polite.
He's never polite with me, Your Honor.
It doesn't matter to me. That's you all's problem. You're going to be polite in this courtroom.
Yes,
and both
ma'am.
of you are going to be polite to me. And you're not going to speak until you're spoken to. And you're not going to have a back and forth between each other. You have plenty of opportunity to do that. This is not the place for that. I'm talking to her now. When it's your turn, I will allow you to speak. Don't interrupt him, and vice versa. We got it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, go on.
So this has kind of been the situation since I moved into town. I'm not originally from Sarasota. This is, like I said, it took me a long time to save up enough money to buy a house on the beach here. And I haven't really been welcomed by most of the wives. I'm pretty much the only single one in the block. So the day of the incident, I teach 6th grade. And I like a work-life balance, so I get to do boot camps on the weekend down at the beach. The day of the incident, I was out there training with my girls, and I did hear my phone
When
being
you say your girls, is that friends or your children?
The clients.
Oh, so you lead the boot camp?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
So I did hear my phone ding a couple of times, but I ran over and turned it off because we get really focused. We're doing, out on the sand, doing the ropes, just running, doing all kinds of stuff. So I didn't have a chance to look at my phone. I went home at the end of the day, and as I was walking, I saw that I had missed 2 texts from my neighbor asking me to move my car, which clearly I couldn't do as I wasn't home. And then I did notice, so then by the time I got home, I saw that my windshield was smashed. Absolutely smashed, the front right windshield. So I knocked on his door, nobody answered. I checked my messages, he had left a message. If you want to call it an apology, I suppose it was there, but he acknowledged that they did crack my windshield. I have some evidence that I'd like to present, if that's okay.
Evidence of?
Photos of the cracked windshield and where the hoop is placed on our property line.
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in seeing, because the cracked windshield I can understand, but I'm trying to see where the basketball court is. And I see that the basketball hoop, the bottom of it, appears to be a little bit over the line, touching her property in a small way.
Correct.
touching.
Is that right?
I think
Yes, ma'am.
It's over the
fair
line.
to say it's touching, not over the line, though.
Well,
The
you see
backboard
that
is over the line.
I didn't ask you to talk. I'm talking.
Sorry.
You see there is a line going down. I don't know if it's a line or a crack, but do you see a line going down on the lighter side? What
Yes.
appears to be a line?
Yes, that is the line, that ridge there is my property.
Okay, and do you see that the bottom of the basketball court is over that line a little? Come on now,
mean,
just be honest. Don't you see that?
Can we zoom in? Is it possible? I can't.
Walk over there.
Okay.
You just don't want to admit it.
This is what I deal with.
Your Honor, I would not say it's over the line. I'd say it's buttressed up against her driveway, but very clearly on my side of the driveway.
Not very
With all
clearly.
due respect.
With all due respect, it's over that line that you admit is your line.
Coming up on Justice with Judge Mablean.
Well, it's my driveway. Can I play on my driveway?
Yeah, knock yourself out. Play on your driveway. But it's called assumption of the risk because you took a risk by playing on your driveway that your basketball would hit her car.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Sabina Masters, who is suing Niall Nakis for property damage.
Go on. What else you want to show me? Okay, the cracked windshield. This windshield is shattered.
Shattered, yes, ma'am.
That's shattered.
Smashed.
Yes, it has to be replaced, and you can't replace one side.
No.
So who's arguing over that?
Niall is, Your Honor.
You're arguing over the fact that the windshield was smashed by who's playing basketball? You and your sons?
My sons and I.
Okay, so you're arguing, are you denying the fact that the windshield was smashed by one of you
Absolutely.
and the basketball?
Absolutely not. In fact, I even left her a voicemail where I was quite contrite, albeit matter of fact, about what had happened. And really, Your Honor, first of all, I apologize we even have to be here today, but we shouldn't be wasting your time with this matter. She was very clearly parked on my property. I have evidence here I would really like to submit you if that's
Well,
okay.
I just saw the car. I don't see a car parked on your property.
So
Is that her black and white car?
That was not on the day in question. I have here in my evidence a
Okay,
picture.
show me yours.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, this is the defendant's evidence of the day in question.
As you can see, her car is clearly parked on my driveway underneath my basketball hoop. And
No, I can see the rear end of her car is parked in your driveway,
right. So if
but
she
the
were,
front of the car is parked in her driveway.
Your Honor, if I may?
No, I can see. The front of the car is on your side, and the rear of the car is on his property line.
Your Honor, if I could just give some context to this
But
situation.
just agree with me on that. The front of the car is on her property line. The back of the car is on yours.
Absolutely.
And
That's
the front of the car is right under, unfortunately, the basketball court. Basically, well, really the side of the car.
correct.
Okay, now give me some context that you want to give me.
So had she parked like a normal person, pulled all the way in, none of her car would be in range of the basketball hoop. Now, my sons, cute little guys, 7 and 5, really wanted to play basketball that day. And you only get one Saturday a week, Your Honor. And I texted Ms. Masters 2 times over the course of several hours, asking her, very politely, and I believe that's in my evidence as well.
And do you not know in the 6 months or 8 months that you've been there that she goes down to the beach that's right in front of both of your proproperties and has boot camp?
Her schedule is not so
Do
consistent.
you
about
not
the
know
boot
that she
camp.
has boot camp at the beach? Yes or no?
Sometimes we've seen her doing it there.
Okay, so
I'm
did you
not
walk
privy
down
her
there to see if
schedule.
she was there?
No,
Before
I
you
didn't.
started playing basketball?
No, I did not.
Okay. And she didn't answer the phone,
She did not answer the
and
phone.
she didn't answer the text.
No, she did not.
So typically when people don't answer the phone and don't answer the text, they're somewhere where they're not getting either. So you decided to play anyway, despite the fact that she didn't answer and she didn't move her car.
If I may,
Yes.
Ms. Masters has a habit of not answering her phones and texts when it comes to this type of thing. There's been several days where she has been erroneously parked, and I've asked her, could you please move the car? She doesn't get back to me. So
And you can't
all
step
times of the
over
day-
across the driveway and knock on the door.
Well, no, but I did in those cases
Okay.
see if she was there, as I did on this day, see if she was at home.
Okay, but not seeing that she is not there, not responding to you, her car is there, you still chose to play.
Well, it's my driveway. Can I play on my driveway?
Yeah, knock yourself out, play on your driveway. But it's called assumption of the risk, because you took a risk by playing on your driveway that your basketball would hit her car.
But didn't she take a risk by parking on my driveway?
She
that
took
something could
a
happen to
risk.
her
She
car?
took a risk by parking on your driveway that something could happen to her car. Yes, both
Yeah.
of you took the risk.
Right.
Okay. Because unfortunately, where you live, the area you live in, because you don't have garages and because you do have to park so close to each other's driveways, when you bought that basketball court and put it there, you took a big risk knowing that she parks her car there. When you bounce a basketball, even if she's on her lot, you bounce the ball, it could go over. You throw the ball, it could go over. When you go up for a basket and miss, it could go over into her if her car was parked right. If her back wheel wasn't in your driveway, you take a risk of hitting her car.
But that's not the case. She's not parked right, and her back wheel
But
is
you
in
know
my
what?
driveway.
You didn't hit the back of the car. You hit the front of the car, and the front of the car is parked right.
But if she
If we
would've
want to
been-
stay with your parking issue,
If she would have been properly parked, the whole
the front
trajectory
of the
basketball
car
would have been
is
different.
parked in her driveway. And
Okay.
it's the front of the car that you hit. And the
But-
front of her car would have been on her property, but you still run a risk because when you go up to that basketball and you have the court and you have the ball in your hand, whoever, and you shoot and miss, it's likely to go over into her yard and to her car. It's inevitable. At some point, that's going to happen.
Your Honor, I don't claim to be an expert on physics, but
I claim to be an expert on good sense, and I can see, and you can too. Now, you know good doggone well when you are side by side and the way you all live and you have a basketball court there, that the likelihood at someday you're going to hit her car with that basketball.
Coming up,
can I ask you a question?
Ask me anything you
What
want.
if my basketball hoop were on the other side of the driveway and it still hit Ms. Masters' car?
You're going to be in trouble.
So
Same
is it
thing.
illegal to play basketball on your own property?
you're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Sabina Masters, who is suing Niall Nakas for property damage.
I live in a neighborhood where we do the same thing. Everybody's cars are basically parked outside, and we run that risk, and all the neighborhood knows that. I have down the street, I saw some people that just put up a basketball court, and I was like, wow, but their risk is the ball is going to run into the street.
Can I ask you a question?
Ask me anything you
What
want.
if my basketball hoop were on the other side of the driveway, near my other neighbors, and it still hit Ms. Masters' car?
You're going to be in trouble.
So
Same
is it
thing.
illegal to play basketball on your own property?
It's not illegal to play basketball on your own property, but you run the risk of harm to other people's property by playing basketball. Because of the nature of your neighborhood, you have to decide what sports can we play on our property safely without harming our neighbor's property. That's the question you have to ask yourself at all times
Then
when
the
you live in
state
a
of
neighborhood
Florida
like
needs
that.
to make a law against playing basketball on your own property, because that's ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous because it's not, no one's saying you can't play basketball on your property. But if you play basketball on a property that's closely adjacent to your neighbor's property and there's a risk and a likelihood that that ball is going to hit something that's on her property, that's why you asked her to move the car, because you knew the risk was there. Where's your
Honor-
back? You don't have a backyard.
Your Honor, no, we don't have a backyard. May I make one point?
Make it.
Often my boys will sloppily park their bikes on the driveway, and it'll partially be on Ms. Masters' driveway. She texts me, I move the bikes. If she were to text me and I ignored her text messages because I was at the beach that day, and she ran over one of my kids' bikes, I would not be wasting your time in the court today.
Well, that's because you may be a more reasonable man than she. You would certainly be able to bring her to court to say that you've damaged my child's bicycle. And you're going to have the same problem that she has now.
Coming up,
She assumed the risk when she parked the car there. You assumed the risk when you let the children play, when you all played basketball there, that there would be damages to her car.
you're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Sabina Masters, who is suing Niall Nakas for property damage.
She assumed the risk when she parked the car there, you assume the risk when you let the children play, when you all played basketball there, that there would be damages to her car.
Your Honor, for months and months when I moved in, like Niall mentioned, I would come home after working all day with the kids to bikes, balls, and things like that in my driveway. I would have to stop, get out of my car, and for months I moved them over onto their property, get back in my car and pull in. I stopped doing that after he refused and got the basketball court, which seemed like it was just to irritate me and just to sort of be...
Well, that's the way you see it.
That is the way I see it.
The way I
You're
see
right.
it is that you all have a bad blood between the two of you, and that you're not being very neighborly to each other and not being very considerate.
I'm trying.
When you move to a neighborhood, a beach neighborhood, and you realize there were small children before you bought the property, you asked the realtor who lives in these properties. Are there children? How many? Whatever. Whatever the issues are that you don't want to deal with in the neighborhood, that's what you look for, and then you avoid.
Right.
But you moved into a beach community, which you said, I hate that we don't have it because the cars get dirty. You chose to move into a beach community where some of it is garage parking, but usually it's only one car. You can't park two.
Right.
And the average families these days have two cars or more. You knew that there was going to be limitation. And you move into a community where there's shared parking. You're going to have that problem.
Right.
You're going to have to get out of your car and move a kid's bike.
Right.
If the kid is not there, that's because that's where you live.
Right.
And good neighbors realize that, and you make a way, and you find a way to resolve it among yourselves without running in and out of court. But if you choose to come to court, that's fine. That's why I'm here. That's what I get paid for. I don't need to talk anymore.
Judge Mablean's verdict when Justice with Judge Mablean returns. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean.
How much did it cost altogether?
I think it was $2,012 for the new windshield.
Wow. So, but as I said, I think that I'm going to apportion it because you both are at risk. You assume the risk. When you move there, you assume the risk that somebody was going to damage your car. And parking it in that manner, that was an assumption of the risk. And I suggest to you, whenever you're going to be away from your house, are not reachable so that you can't get the call from the neighbor, or don't even wait for the call from the neighbor. When you're going to be away from your house and can't receive a call, just say to them, I'm going down to the beach. You know, or make sure your car is on your side of the property when you're not at home. You need to park in your driveway all the way.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's being disrespectful and, you know, inconsiderate as well. All right?
Okay.
Okay, so the judgment is that the defendant will pay the plaintiff $500, and both of you have assumed the risk in that regard, and that's the judgment I will make. Judgment for the plaintiff for $500.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $500.
Maybe now you'll take your hoop down?
I hope you take this as an opportunity to work on yourself.
See, you still didn't learn anything. Maybe now you'll take his hoop down. He didn't have to take his hoop down. All you all need to do is be considerate of each other.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.